Every Wednesday, William Henry's Revelations bring you a powerful half hour of information at the cutting edge of reality. Information that you cannot find anywhere else in the world. And now, here's William.
Welcome, everyone. Today, I want to take time to catch you up on some of the things I'm working on and invite you to participate in my upcoming works, including my first online webinar, The Path of Souls, which takes place July 12th through the 14th on acoustichealth.com. I'll have more on that in a moment. First, Claire and I recently returned from sacred southern France and our Doorways into Other Dimensions tour. Our journey took us to Rennes-le-Château and other hot spots in the Languedoc. It was absolutely wonderful to be back in this sacred land. Our time there left us ready to sell up in the good old USA, and live on the edge of the grid in the romantic and wild French countryside, adopting a 11th to 13th century state of mind. We're returning to France on September 26th through October 4th for another Doorways into Other Dimensions tour. If you're excited about the prospect of visiting an extraordinarily beautiful and spiritually uplifting sacred place where you're immersed in the mysteries of the Holy Grail and the lost secrets of the Cathars and Jesus and Mary Magdalene, all the while eating unbelievably delicious food and soaking in the light of pristine countryside, please join us. Tour information is available on my website, williamhenry.net. I was saddened recently to learn of the passing of author Michael Bajan, the force behind the incredible book Holy Blood, Holy Grail, and other massively influential books on the lost secrets of Jesus. Holy Blood, Holy Grail is a powerful magnet that drew the world's attention to Rennes-le-Château and its mysteries. It started me on my journey in 1982. I had the pleasure of interviewing Michael on Dreamland about his book, The Jesus Papers. He had just done 100 or so interviews with mainstream press, and all they wanted to talk about at that time was his plagiarism lawsuit against Dan Brown. He was ecstatic when my first question was about his book rather than Brown's. We had a great conversation from then on. Mr. Bajan leaves a legacy of legions of minds illuminated by his research and his elegant and gentlemanly manner. We wish him Godspeed. Michael drew our attention to the fact that during the 11th to 13th century, a powerful light, spirit, or vibration of gnosis arose on earth. This light or spirit revived the gnosis and Gnosticism of late antiquity. Simultaneously, three spiritual movements flourished in the area around the southern Pyrenees. In the area of southern France, there came the first flowering of the troubadour traditions and of the Jewish Gnosticism and the Kabbalah. To the south, in Spain, the mystical tradition that gave root to a Gnostic school in Islam took form, exemplified by the seminal figure Ibn Arabi, the seminal figure of Turkish, Persian, and Sufi Gnostic traditions. In the Languedoc region of southern France came the good ones, or the Cathars. Perfect, also known as a parfait in French or perfectus in Latin, was the name given by Bernard of Clairvaux to the Cathars. The term reflects that such a person was seen by the Catholic Church as the perfect heretic. Actually, the Cathars were interested in the secrets of perfecting the body into light and returning to our original state as light beings or angelic beings. The Cathars believed that there were two principal powers in the universe. One, God, was entirely good and dwelt in a condition of pure spirit and light, while the other, Satan or Lucifer, the prince of this world, was entirely evil and ruled over the world of matter. This dualism they drew from a particular reading of the Gospels. For example, the Gospel of John says, "That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit, and never the twain shall meet." But the Cathars, each individual contained within them a shard of the divine light, the angelic soul, which was trapped in a garment of flesh, the body, by Lucifer. While confined in this garment of matter, the soul would temporarily forget its origin with God and instead find itself trapped in matter, suffering the games of this world. Christ, to the Cathars, was an emissary of the light sent into this world to lead humanity back to the throne of God. Cathars held to a doctrine of reincarnation, believing that the soul was doomed to incarnate in this world time and again until through a process of spiritual growth and purification, perfection, it was able to return to God's throne. According to the records of the Inquisition, when the Catholic Church exterminated the Cathars in the first European genocide from 1200 to 1244, it was believed that this process of death and rebirth towards final perfection took place over 7 lives. The Cathars believed that our souls are those of the Watchers, angelic spirits that once inhabited the throne of God, but rebelled and have been blamed for all kinds of havoc on earth since then. Mention the Watchers, and you might hear people say something like they're demons who are deceiving humankind. According to ancient Middle Eastern texts, such as the Book of Genesis and the Book of Enoch, and tradition, long ago, before the cataclysm of 10,000 BC, this ancient super race of celestial or angelic beings, called the Watchers or Holy Ones, rebelled against God, came to earth from God's throne in the celestial city the Bible calls Sion or Sion, descended upon a mountain also called Sion, and intervened in human affairs. In what Moses records as an historical event in the book of Genesis, chapter 6, these sons of God, or Elohim, as the Watchers are also known, assumed or morphed into a human-like form, intermarried with the daughters of man, and taught forbidden knowledge of technology and human transformation into angels to their offspring, the Nephilim, a superhuman race who later had to be eliminated by Yahweh, who sent the biblical flood to destroy them. As punishment, the rebellious Watchers are bound in everlasting change under darkness in the valleys of the earth until Judgment Day, says the book of Jude. Are they still there? Some wild claims have been made recently about the Watchers, but numerous ancient sources refer to the sons of heaven as angels. Early references, including the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Greek and Aramaic versions of the book of Enoch, tell us that they are in fact light beings, spirit beings, morphing beings who morph into human bodies. They're also discussed in the earlier Sumerian texts. This earlier version shows the angels of Sion, these sons of Elohim, the Watchers, brought wisdom to earth, i.e., divine knowledge of how humans can transform into angels and ascend to the heavenly Sion. But because this wisdom was brought in rebellion against God, it's claimed it corrupted the human code, especially the human genetic code. We can safely say the sons of God are divine or holy beings who are members of God's heavenly or divine council. They're not human. They're not from earth. They are from the throne of God. They're from Sion, a non-human realm, plane, or domain, the other side, the spirit world, the afterlife. They are able to cross over into our world. Humans can enter theirs, but first we must transform into holy ones. Most of the texts that describe the holy ones and their offspring, the Nephilim, are considered heresy. Traditional Christianity wants you to fear the Nephilim and the Watchers. This is a sure tip that something of immense spiritual importance is being concealed. Yahweh exterminated their offspring in the Old Testament. The Catholic Church exterminated the Watchers in the first European genocide, that of the Cathars. What do the Watchers and their offspring know that Yahweh and the Pope don't want us to know? This summer, I'm writing 2 books on the theme of perfecting the body, the Watchers, and returning to the throne. One is The Angels of Sion, The Lost Secrets of the Watchers, the holiest race that rules mankind. This book is due out in October. The other is The Path of Souls, Our Ascension to the Throne of God. I'll be doing my first online workshop on this subject in July. But first, let's talk about The Angels of Sion. This book is actually the sequel to The Secret of Sion. Its focus is the Watchers. In the book, I review recent scholarship based on the book of Enoch and the Sumerian text that revealed the Watchers as a holy race who have a vision of human freedom, perfectibility, and spiritual power, and this is the reason why the establishment church hates them. Biblical scholars agree that the Genesis account, which chronicles events that occurred before the cataclysm of 10,000 BC, is a fragment of a bigger story recorded in the 2nd century BC Book of Enoch, where the Watchers are angels dispatched to earth to watch over the humans. In fact, watcher is an Aramaic term meaning awake and watchful, or those who are awake. The watchers soon began to lust for human women, and at the prodding of their leader, Samyasa, defect en masse to illicitly instruct humanity and procreate among them. The hybrid offspring of these unions, or celestial beings plus humans, are the Nephilim, who are portrayed often as savage giants who pillaged the earth and endanger humanity. Samyasa and his associates further taught their human charges arts and technologies such as weaponry, cosmetics, mirrors, sorcery, and other techniques that would otherwise be discovered only gradually over time by humans, not foisted upon them all at once. Eventually, God allows this great cataclysm to rid the earth of the Nephilim, but first sends the archangel Uriel to warn Noah so as not to eradicate the human race. Various texts make it clear that some of the Nephilim survived. They reincarnated as the Essenes, who had interactions with the Watchers, and later as the Cathars, who claimed they were, and us were also, the Watchers. They are alive today as well. Central to correctly understanding the Watchers is the belief expressed by Enoch that the human soul came from the stars and one day will return there. Also, humans are in the process of transforming or morphing into angels. The angels were described as having the forms of men, but being clothed in brilliant light garments, often described as white linen. This light body or garment of light is a symbol of the acquisition of angelic powers. The Enochian Book of Watchers was widely read by the early Christians and the Essenes. The Book of Enoch, featuring the story of Enoch's ascension to heaven, was a manual of instruction for the early Christians. It was a guidebook for spiritual perfection and the ascension experience, preparing them for the path of souls or the soul's voyage into the Milky Way. It was based on chariot throne, or what's known as Merkaba mysticism. The chariot throne is a metaphor for the light body or the rainbow body, our ascended body. Early Christians secretly worked with forbidden secrets of the Merkaba until it was taken over by the Persian avatar Mani. The Catholic Church did its best to eradicate these teachings. But in the Dead Sea Scrolls uncovered, Robert Eisenman and Michael Weiss revealed that fragments of the Essene Dead Sea Scrolls contain parallels between the throne chariot tradition and the Christian scriptures. This is referred to by Paul as secret wisdom and hidden mysteries. The Qumran documents refer specifically to chariots of glory, mystical ascents, and the mysteries of the highest angels. Gnostic scholar Stephen Heller cites this kinship as evidence of a secret tradition that was opposed to the traditional Jewish and Christian tradition. It's about the light body, it's about ascension and portals or gateways to the stars. It is my premise in Angels of Sion that in order to understand the sons of God, the Elohim, the Watchers, and their offspring, the Nephilim, we must first view them and their story through the lens of ascension or Merkaba mysticism. This view has been largely ignored by most popular writers on this subject, in fact, nearly all of them. Specialists, on the other hand, have been investigating this angle for centuries. In my book, we will peel back the misconceptions about these beings and peer into their deepest secret. They came to show us the way or path of souls. You see, biblical and Merkaba texts begin with the proposition that there exists a boundary between heaven and earth, between celestial and terrestrial, humans and the divine, between flesh and light. This boundary is strictly enforced and is not to be crossed by beings of either domain. For example, Psalms 115 states it plainly, "The heavens are the Lord's heaven, but the earth he has given to human beings." In Exodus 33:20, God warns, "You will not see my face, for no man can see me and live." However, from time to time in the Bible, humans are allowed to enter this realm and to see God's face and to phase between the realms. Moses' face-to-face encounter with God on the glowing Mount Sinai is a prime example. God gave Moses the Torah, the Ten Commandments, and a blueprint for a device to hold them, the Ark of the Covenant. When Moses ascends Mount Sinai to encounter God face-to-face, he did more than just climb up the Great Pyramid with his missing capstone to meet the eye in the triangle. He set an example for all humanity. Merkaba mystics took this episode and ran with it. Accordingly, anyone can climb the mystic mountain and have a personal and direct connection with God. Anyone can experience visions of the divine realms and can learn to navigate this realm. How? Well, personal ethical decisions, spiritual exercises, personal deeds, and expanded inner awareness act like dialing numbers on an iPhone. Further, the individual's consciousness will affect the ascent. Connecting with God and journeying to heaven are not dependent upon God's will, according to the Gnostics. Humans, with the right tools and expanded spiritual capacity, can make the call and let God know we're embarking on the ascending path of souls to his celestial throne. We can ascend there while alive in our bodies, as opposed to only after death. All we need to know is the secret of the path of souls. And after the break, we'll explore this path. This is Revelations. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Revelations of William Henry.
UnknownCountry.com. It's a very special place with a very special news page. This week, we broke the Flight 800 news. Remember TWA Flight 800 crashed into the Atlantic Ocean. It was said to have an exploding fuel tank. Now, a number of the investigators who worked on the case say it's a cover-up, and they want the case reopened by the NTSB. You read it first on UnknownCountry.com. Did you know that a psychic who was accused of a scam actually won a lawsuit against the people who made the accusation because it was untrue? So is there something real about this woman? Read it on UnknownCountry.com. A new video has come along strongly suggesting that an unknown species that we've been following on the website since the year 2000 is indeed not a known species. Take a look at it on UnknownCountry.com. And what happened to Michael Hastings? You remember a few days ago he was a Rolling Stone contributor, a BuzzFeed contributor, frightened that he was under an FBI investigation. Suddenly he died in a flaming car accident. What really happened? Read about it on UnknownCountry.com. And to keep reading about it, well, we need you because we're subscriber supported primarily. That's why the website is there, because of you. Go to UnknownCountry.com, click on the subscribe tab on the masthead, and get started today. It is the least expensive subscription that we know of its kind on the internet, and it gives you so much more.
This is Revelations. I'm continuing now in my description of my new online workshop, The Path of Souls, our journey to the throne of God, which will be held July 16th through 18th online. All you have to do is visit the website, acoustichealth.com, for details. This is a workshop about life, death, and rebirth. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross once asked, what happens to us as we die? Dr. Raymond Moody asked, what happens to us when we die? Sherwin Newland asks, how do we die? Suki Miller asked, what happens to us after we die? My Path of Souls work asks, what's out there? Where do we go next? How do we get there? And what do I need to be doing now in order to get there? Diverse cultures across time and space have proposed answers to these ultimate questions. One message is resoundingly clear. The afterlife realm is knowable and reachable. The dead actively move through a detailed geography, one that has been mapped out for us. Shamans travel there as routinely as New Yorkers take a train or Londoners ride the tube. One motif common to many after-death or life-after-life systems is the idea of morphing. Life in a human body is precious, but it is an interphasic state, an intermediary phase for the soul. The Gnostics believed our divine spark manifests the human body as a vehicle for earthly exploration, and it also has the power to transfigure it or morph it into a form suitable for traveling to other realms. This transfiguration is a part of the Path of Souls. One of the things that surprised me most about my work on the Path of Souls is how much the Sumerians knew about navigating the afterlife. In fact, they learned everything they knew from the Anunnaki, those ultra-mysterious star people who the Sumerians said crafted or genetically modified our bodies. Zechariah Sitchin popularized them as humanoid aliens putting around the galaxy in rocket ships in search of gold to repair their home planet's atmosphere. The thing is, though, the Sumerians never said anything about this themselves. It's been suggested that this is Sitchin's assumption, or some say fabrication. And along the way, says Sitchin, they enslaved us in their gold mining operation. So if the Anunnaki weren't here for gold, why were they here? Based on the very clearly written Sumerian afterlife beliefs, especially as found in the stories of Enki, the picture I'm seeing is that the Anunnaki are more like super advanced interdimensional Stargate-traveling non-physical light beings who can morph between the physical and the non-physical. Their offspring, the Watchers, who I write about in Angels of Sion, have the same capability. They can morph. They can travel the stars through portals and gateways. So why did they come here? The Sumerian afterlife myths are, again, clear. They revealed the Anunnaki intervened in human affairs to lead souls along the road to heaven, through the portals to the afterlife realm or dimension. That is, they came to teach the Path of Souls. Along the way, they taught us to work for them, meaning they taught us the secrets of working our souls out of earth life and returning to life as celestial or star beings. We're not their slaves, as many propose. We're not a slave species either. That is, unless we choose not to do the soul work necessary to help us to ascend. Our work is about morphing into star beings and navigating the afterlife, secrets that have been known since at least 10,000 BC. In my Path of Souls webinar, I'll take you on a visual journey from the Sumerian beliefs to the ancient Egyptian, the early Christian, the Tibetan, the Native American, and Mayan traditions. All have afterlife teachings about attaining the light body and journeying through portals or gates to the throne of God. They're highly complementary of one another. How do we attain this throne? What do we need to be doing during our lives to assist us in navigating the portals of the afterlife? How come we're not taught this from kindergarten on? The Path of Souls is an inward journey. It's an outward journey and a physical ascent to a celestial place where divine beings dwell in actual celestial palaces or places. This powerful journey has taken me to the edge of this world and beyond, to the place where the Path of Souls stretches out before me and us. The Path of Souls is populated by glowing or shining beings. It takes us along celestial roads or stars, over bridges of fire or light, twisting along serpent ropes and umbilical cords through closed gates and past angry guardians who are appeased when we show them magical signs and special secret passwords. Once we overcome the dangerous challenges, we enter God's throne. That's where all the good stuff starts to happen. The online webinar by The Path of Souls takes place July 16th through 18th. It's 2 hours each day. You can order it and participate in it live or watch it later. Again, you can visit acoustichealth.com for details. Support for this project is much appreciated. I hope you'll consider signing up for the online event. The Path of Souls promises to be an incredible, if not a magisterial work on soul history. I've never been more excited about a project. It's almost as if my 25 years of research, 17 books, and numerous DVD presentations have been guiding and preparing me to assemble this work. And I need your help to do so. As you can imagine, this project is requiring an enormous investment in art and research. If you can help support and illuminate this project in any way, I would be immensely grateful. As always, I'm deeply grateful to all who generously patronized The Secret of Scion and the Judgment Day device. We were able to pull together an amazing body of lost knowledge and astounding sacred art. Readers and viewers tell me how they gather with friends to discuss the works. Bringing people together is, to me, what this work is really all about. And the rare art I sourced and you helped me acquire is now having a big impact on audiences all over the world. So thank you once again for a job well done, but only just begun. So today I'm asking for further help to light the way of the path of souls. A lot of the basic research is done. Now I just need help with the upfront costs required to travel, to acquire additional images to complete the project, and to fund the substantial cost to publish a full-color book. You can contact me at whenrytn@earthlink.net if you're interested in more details or if you would like to help light the Path of Souls in any way. Till then, I hope to see you online at the Path of Souls workshop and hope to see you next time here on Revelations. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
Attending a William Henry presentation is unforgettable. Keep up with his schedule at williamhenry.net. You've been listening to William Henry's Revelations on Dreamland Radio. Next Wednesday, another cutting-edge revelation from William Henry.